wrestling is such a massive part of entertainment, but there's so much more outside of it. That's what I'm going to focus on. It's been really nice to have this comfort with WWE. It's time for me to start betting on Kayla.
What's betting on yourself look like?
I want to start doing things that bring me personal joy.
What a send-off.
I know.
Every time you have interaction with Paul Heyman, you guys just played off each other so well.
Hi, Kayla.
He made it really easy for me. So a lot of times it was just riffing.
Congratulations on being 4'11.5" again.
Wikipedia guys, stop it. They put me at 4'8".
That is mean.
That is so mean.
Who's the biggest celebrity you met because of WWE?
Getting to say The Rock was my coworker was pretty wild. I'm really thankful for the last 8 years, but I'm excited for the future.
Let's give it a try.
All right. You know, need a little jolt.
Not a ton of caffeine. It's like 120 milligrams of
Like
caffeine.
I think I drink a Diet Coke for my caffeine intake like once or twice a week.
Okay, so this is, right around there, I guess.
Ooh, that tastes really nice.
That's like very sweet. That's the original flavor.
Oh, and it's a mood booster? Well, I
Well,
need
look
that.
look at all the lovely ingredients.
Let's see. There we go. That's lots of...
BCAAs and ginkgo biloba.
Oh, it tastes really... It's like not too sweet. Like I don't like the energy drinks that are like...
I hate those energy drinks that taste like gasoline.
Like, yeah.
You know the ones
We're not going to say the names on here.
You know the one I'm talking
I know,
about.
I know what you're talking
ones
about.
I'm talking about. Jeez. It's great to see you.
Yeah, you too. It's good to be back.
Welcome to the new studio here.
It's really good. It smells really good too.
It does
It has
smell
like
really
this
nice.
like fresh wood smell. Like almost like that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like lumber.
Well, it's freshly built.
Yeah,
so I think that's what you're smelling. Like,
very nice.
like when you walk into someone's house and they've had renovations,
Yes.
you're like, smells
Without
like a new
all
kitchen.
the dust and stuff. So it's very cool.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah. Is this the longest you've been at home for quite some time?
Yeah. It's weird to not have a suitcase to trip over when I get out of bed.
I bet.
So yeah,
Like,
it's been nice.
Your longest was probably like 5 days before.
A couple times in the almost 10 years I worked there, I'd have like a couple weeks off, like once a year. But yeah, for the most part.
Do you have a dog?
My boyfriend has a dog.
So the dog's probably like, what are you doing
I know,
here?
she loves it. She loves it. But
Yeah.
sometimes you're like, are you overstaying your welcome a little bit, you know?
Are there times when you wake up and you're like, wait a sec, I don't have to like rush to the airport right now? Like
The first few weeks after it was kind of like that because I had like the schedule because I normally would be on early flights Thursday. So it's go to bed, kind of early on Wednesday, wake up early on Thursday. Then of course I'm working Friday, then planning my weekends and trying to get back in time to hang out with my friends on Saturday. So it's 4 days of my week, every single week for years. It's been like that. And I'm like, man, like Thursday gets here. I'm like, what should I do today?
Yeah.
It's nice. Go lay up by the pool.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, how are you feeling in this post-WWE life you're living now? I
feel really good. I think anytime, you're somewhere for so long and it becomes such a big part of your life, it is, I think it was difficult for me to know how I was going to feel when I stepped away. And I think, I've had a little bit of FOMO, when I see the shows on or see my friends posting about their matches and stuff backstage. But I feel really good. Like, I think I made the right decision. It was definitely time for me to go. There was nothing negative about my reason for leaving. It was just done everything I can do there. I've hit the ceiling. At this time, at that point, I was just kind of wasting my time and I think everybody else's time. Someone else could be moving into my spot and then I could be moving on to the next part of my life. So I'm really at peace with it.
Did you have any sort of expectations 8 years ago when you signed with WWE, like what this would end up becoming?
I definitely didn't think I was going to be there for 8 years. I think I came in thinking, all right, this is a new thing, wrestling. I'm going to learn it. I'm going to get some, get some new skills and then move on. Like that was kind of the idea that I had in my head, but it locked me in way longer than I thought. But no, not at all. Never thought I'd end up hosting like a morning show for the better part of 4 years. That's grown into what it was. And hosting shows with Paul Heyman and becoming part of a storyline with Paul Heyman. No, but I think every single step that I had in WWE, I wouldn't have changed anything.
Also, look at the journey. You went from knowing really not a lot about WWE.
Nothing.
Okay, I was being generous. To knowing pretty much the ins and outs of it now. What a crazy journey over those 8 years.
It really was. And I think, people, who don't follow wrestling, it's one of those things that the first time you watch it, even when I bring my friends to a WWE show and they've never watched wrestling, they're just hooked. You can watch people in the audience, you just get sucked in. So imagine working there and being at the Performance Center and working with all the NXT talent and being on the road and doing like trips overseas. It's all immersive. You learn stuff so quickly. And then I feel like for a while I'd be talking to my friends who aren't in wrestling, and I'd be using, the common phrases that wrestlers use, like, oh, we're gonna get over, but yeah.
He gimmicked that thing. He did what to it?
No, pop. What?
Oh,
Snap,
man,
crackle.
I popped for that. You did what?
I know. But yeah, I learned really fast.
What went into the idea, the decision of like, all right, I am going to give my notice. I am going to leave this dream job.
Mm-hmm. I think it's something I'd been kind of contemplating for a while. I think once I stepped down from the bump, I moved to Los Angeles. It was very clear I was kind of trying to find what my next phase of life was going to be career-wise. And I think the company kind of acknowledged that as well. And they were very supportive. Like when I moved out to LA, they put a studio in my apartment. They wanted me to continue doing the bump until I was like, okay, I think it's time that Megan Morant takes over this role full-time and you have your studio crew in Stamford. And then I feel like, on SmackDown, it's hard. It's a 2-hour show. So there's not a lot of room for backstage interviews on SmackDown. You got to get the stories in there. So I wasn't doing much backstage at SmackDown. And then I wasn't really doing the kickoff show panels anymore. And so I was just kind of seeing the writing on the wall a little bit. And just thought, I feel good at where my life is outside of WWE. So I just thought it was, and while everybody was, getting along, everything was amicable. The company was very supportive of me stepping down. Said the door is always open. It was very nice to hear. But yeah, I think it was just the perfect timing to do that.
And what a send off!
I know.
Madison Square Garden. Cody brings you out. The crowd is chanting, "Thank you, Kayla."
I know. I was getting so. So Madison Square Garden. I was gonna have like this send off party after the show. So I'm already like, it's 30 minutes left of the show. It's my last day. I've done my interview. I'm like, I'm in party mode. Okay, we're ready to send off. And one of the writers came up to me, and said, "Don't leave." No, it was Kasama. We love Kasama. She said, "Kayla, don't leave." I said, "Why?" She goes, "Triple H said don't leave." I was like, "Are they like probably gonna have me for the plan B if the show runs short? Got to run out there." I'm like, ready for my tequila. And then I start like thinking, oh, they're about to like do something. And then I get brought into Gorilla. Stephanie McMahon is there. Triple H is there. I just talked to Nick Khan. Like it was, and then I knew they were about to do something for me. I didn't know it was going to be Cody. And so, it's still like when I talk about it, it's still kind of surreal that as a announcer for WWE, I got a send off like that with the biggest star in the company at the world's most famous arena.
Yeah, that doesn't happen.
I know.
It's usually just like you make a post on social media and then that's
future
it.
Endeavors.
Yeah, right. You get future endeavored. This was like, and I think it also speaks to the era of WWE that we're in right now. But like that's really nice, and it's a good way to like close that chapter of your life too.
100%. I think that's a good way to like look at it. It was just a closure. It wasn't me leaving thinking people were mad at me, or it was a bad look, or it was going to affect my next career move because I looked problematic. Like I think it just all works so well, and it just made me. I walked away to go get my tequila, feeling really good.
We talking shots of tequila?
Celebration, a little celebrating.
Yeah, but not a lot of people get to leave WWE on their own terms.
Yeah, and especially in the broadcast team. I think there's only been, Renee and I think myself, when looking at all the broadcasters for the last, pretty long time who made the decision to walk away. So I felt really proud of myself, I think, because I realized, it's been really nice to have this this comfortability with WWE, but it's time for me to start betting on Kayla. And so I felt like that was, that's what we're doing.
And what does that look like?
Well, I've been doing, you mean like what I'm like?
Well, what's betting on yourself look like,
I just think, having more control over what I've always been so career oriented since I was a little girl. I've always known I wanted to be in the TV space. And I think I've always worked for other people before WWE. I was working for a local TV station in Orlando, which is amazing and a great experience. But I'm like, you know what? I know what I want to do in television. I'm not a spring chicken anymore. I have a decade of experience under my belt. I want to start doing things that like bring me personal joy. And I feel like the experience I have and the things I want to do, I think will be able to make an impact in the industry. So just want to take more control over it.
We'll get right back to the conversation in just a second, but guys, I love sleep.
I love sleep so much. That's why this episode is brought to you by Miracle Made. And if you wake up too hot or too cold, I highly recommend you check out Miracle Made's bed sheets. Miracle Made sheets are inspired by NASA and use silver-infused fabrics that are temperature regulating so you can sleep at the absolute perfect temperature all night long. And that means you get a better sleep every single night, because the more important thing than like the time spent in bed is the quality of that sleep time that you spend in bed. And because these sheets are infused with silver, they prevent up to 99.7% of bacterial growth, leaving them to stay cleaner and fresher 3 times longer than other sheets. No more gross odors. So are they comfortable? Great question. They're as comfortable, if not more comfortable, than like the type of sheets you'd see in a 5-star hotel, but without that kind of price tag attached. It's summer. It's so hot out right now. The last thing you want to do is sleep hot. Go to trymiracle.com/CVV to check out Miracle Made's bed sheets. And whether you're buying them for yourself or you're buying them for a gift, if you order today, you're going to save 40%. They're on sale already, 40% off. But if you use my code CVV at checkout, you're gonna get an additional 20% off on top of that, plus 3 free towels. And they've got a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you really have no risk here. trymiracle.com/CVV, use that code CVV for an extra 20% off and 3 free towels. Huge thank you to Miracle Made for sponsoring this episode.
The cool thing about what you did in WWE is you get the hosting experience. You also get the acting experience.
Exactly. And when I've been dabbling in acting a little bit, and that was something that I've talked to even my agents about. The thing with WWE that people don't realize is I'm acting backstage. I'm pretending, I'm playing a character, a broadcasting character.
Yeah.
However, with the bump, that broadcasting work did go into that. I did my research, asking actual interview questions. So yeah, the little best of both worlds, I think, really prepares people like us for potential like Hollywood stuff. So
I don't think people realize that the backstage interview it's a skill. It's not just asking a question. It's like you're asking a question, then your face needs to emote something in a certain way that helps to propel the story forward.
Exactly.
It's a skill that I don't think is talked about enough.
I mean, yeah, it is true. Like I did a. Everyone knows it's got kind of blown up online about me and LA Knight. We had an interview towards the end of my days there. And I don't know what was going on. I think I was just really tired. And he and I were going back and forth backstage, and he kept saying, he was trying to get me to say yeah. But he also just insulted me on TV, so I felt like my character wouldn't have said yeah. But whatever my facial expression was, the internet is still talking about, saying that I just looked like I ruined the entire promo by my reaction. But that is like the fact that an announcer, interviewer can ruin a promo just shows how important the interviewer actually is. So
it's a great point. And I think you see this every time you have any sort of interaction with Paul Heyman too, where it's like you guys just played off each other so well.
He made it really easy for me. A lot of that stuff we were kind of given the direction of how it needed to go, but everyone's like, well, just do whatever Paul says. And so a lot of times it was just riffing. Like I'd just go off Paul, he'd go off me. I didn't know what he was going to do. And we're live, and that is a terrifying place to be. But it always did well. I feel like it always got a lot of positive reaction. I never got into any trouble. So Paul's like, you won't get in trouble. You won't get in trouble. I'm like, oh, okay.
The way Paul Heyman speaks, it's I can't even put it into words. It's like he's speaking down to you or anybody, but at the same time also getting a point across and like making Roman Reigns look great. There's so many layers to what he's doing.
I think because he says everything with so much like confidence. There's not a lot of time that goes in between each word and sentence. He just rolls through. He can roll for like 5 minutes and not take a breath.
Yeah.
So then at that point, everyone's like, yeah, like whatever he's saying definitely sounds correct. Yeah, we'll go with that.
That's a good point. Like there's no ums, there's no ahs, there's no pauses.
No.
It's almost like, and I mean this in the best way possible, it's almost like a used car salesman where like he just keeps riffing and you're like, the more you're talking, the more I'm buying this.
Exactly.
This is great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like now you're in Hollywood world, back to auditions, right?
Yeah. That's an interesting thing. I know you've experienced this as well. And we were talking about it before we started rolling about, the self-taping. And that's a little hard. I feel like that's a little difficult because you're not getting to play off anyone. Like one time I was having my friend read on a phone, it's like so was reading back to me. I'm like, you can't. It's hard to act that way, you know.
Especially when you're reading with someone off camera and they're not really supposed to act that much.
Yeah.
Because the focus is supposed to be on you.
But then it's like hard to act and react. I don't know. I'm learning. It's a whole new skill I'm learning. But I've done a few auditions.
And that's actually the crazy thing is auditioning is a skill in itself.
Mm-hmm.
You can be a great auditioner and maybe not great at like actually acting, which is I think a trope that people fall into here.
Or the opposite. I think Nicole Kidman may have said it. Someone said it, that they're so terrible at auditions. Like if it was just auditions that got her, you know, like she would fail. But she's one of the best, actresses of our time.
Yeah.
So it's like test taking. I'm a terrible test taker. But I got mostly A's in school, you know?
Yeah.
But those, little multiple choice things, not good at it.
So you just did a film.
Just did a film.
Stranglehold. Mm-hmm. What role are you playing in this?
So my name is Crystal. So it's a film directed by Clark Duke.
I love Clark Duke.
Yeah, he's amazing.
And he's also a wrestling fan.
Big wrestling fan. So the movie, I don't know how much I think they put out a little bit about it, but basically it's based in a strip club. No, I do not strip in it, so don't be weird. You have to tell that, okay? Have to say that.
Appreciate it.
And basically it's about this main dancer is Ashley Benson. And she and her husband, Jake Lacey, one night decide to rob the strip club. And so the manager is played by Justin Long, who I'm a huge fan of. Ron Perlman is there as like one of the guys working with one of the main characters. But
what a cast!
I mean, it's mind boggling to even think I was in that. But yeah, I'm one of the girls. There were 3 other strippers cast in the show, so I was one of them. And I don't want to go into much detail about my character, but yeah, it was fun.
Does this play off Clark's other film? Was that Oklahoma?
Arkansas,
jeez.
It's based in Clark. Just cut it, edit it.
It was a stage.
Well, his brother was one of the writers on Arkansas, and his brother is who wrote this movie as well. So it's really cool seeing the 2 brothers work together. But it's based in Arkansas.
How was craft services?
WWE could learn a thing or two.
Oh.
I'm kidding. No, I didn't really eat much because when I'm nervous, I can't really eat. So I think I popped by for some Cheetos a few times, but it looked good.
What's your prep when you're getting the sides? You're trying to figure out your lines. What's your prep?
So I spent a lot of time. I had my own trailer. So cool, right? I feel like just read them a lot because I was trying to figure out, trying to create my character in my head and who I think or how she would sound. So I did a few takes even on my phone, trying to and then I'd watch it back and try to tweak it where needed. I don't know, I'm new at this acting thing,
and it's a totally different world.
It is, and that's another thing. Being on set in a movie, we're backstage at WWE for 12 hours every single Friday, and it's hurry up and wait, and we have that process. Being on a movie set was a completely different world, not similar the way I would think it would be at all.
Yeah.
Very intimidating.
I was on a set and they said it was basically if they can film about a page a day, that's good. And I'm like,
oh, it's true.
What?
It's very
it's
accurate.
7 lines.
When I was looking at the sheets, I was like, wait, we're only going to do these 3 things today, but we would be there till 3 a.m. I'm like, holy cow.
But it's all the setup, right? Mm-hmm. It's the setup and getting the shots right.
Yep.
All
every
this.
Camera angle,
Yes. Did you have a stand-in?
I did for a moment. You're asking too many questions, Chris. You're going to get me in trouble. Just watch the movie when it comes out.
That's not giving up way too much.
Well, yeah, because the reason why.
Oh,
So.
Okay. Now we'll have to really see.
Yeah.
But did it feel like I'm at home on the movie set?
No. Even some, I was trying to, bond with some of the people. Everyone was so nice. It was so easy to make friends with people on the set. But they would be talking about what movies they've done or what was the last movie. And they got to me and I was just like, well.
Have you ever seen Friday Night SmackDown?
Exactly. The movie.
Do you know who The Rock is?
Exactly. Just use him for clout to get over in the movie world. But yeah, it was a really cool experience. And it did make me want to maybe pursue that a little bit more and maybe get a little more serious, get back into acting classes and
Quick time out here. Blue Chew has sponsored this episode, and they're giving you the first month for free when you use the code CVV at BlueChew.com. You just have to pay $5 for shipping. Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but at a fraction of the cost and in chewable form. All you have to do is sign up at BlueChew.com. The process is so simple. Consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. The best part is it's all done online, so there's no doctor's visits, there's no awkward conversations, no waiting in line at the pharmacy. This is delivered right to your door so you can turn up the heat in the bedroom. Oh yeah. Blue Chew wants to help you chew it and do it. Like I said before, the first month is free. You just have to pay $5 for shipping when you go to BlueChew.com and enter the code CVV. That's right, your first month is free at BlueChew.com. When you use that code CVV, you just have to pay $5 for shipping. Big thank you to Blue Chew for sponsoring the episode.
But is hosting still the real passion for you?
Yeah, and it's because I've done it for so long. I mean,
Yeah.
that's my
feel
craft.
you.
That's my skill. Like, I don't know if I want to start over. So yeah, that's where I'm gonna keep most of my attention.
I feel you. There's something about hosting. And I think it's, we both have a similar background in broadcasting. And the cool thing about broadcasting that at its core, it's storytelling. And that's what you get to do as a host.
Yeah.
You get to guide the audience along in the story and kind of be the narrator in a way. And I feel you. There's a lot of people that move out here to Hollywood, move out here to LA to do the acting thing and realize you've got to start from like...
You got people who've been here since diapers acting. So now you're gonna jump the line. It's not very easy to do.
Think you're going to jump the line.
Exactly.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm feeling the caffeine.
Hey!
So if I start talking too fast, you'd be like, shh, calm. It's good.
It's very good. I'll have some more here. Yeah.
I have energy, guys.
You said that in the least energetic way. I have energy, guys.
Before I did a talking smack once, I chugged an energy drink because we'd been there all day. It's back when we did the desk show after SmackDowns.
Yeah.
And it hit me. And I was talking, and they were in my ear like, Kayla, slow down. I was just like, and then afterwards, like, you're never allowed to drink an energy drink before you do a show again. So, yeah, we'll see.
Can't wait till you're done that can.
I know.
Just keep drinking it up here. Congratulations on being 4'11" and a half again.
Oh, Wikipedia, guys, stop it. Like, you're going to be banned. I'm going to find out how to ban you from Wikipedia if you mess with my height again. They put me down after we talked last time.
Well, you were like, I'm 4'11" and a half.
Yes.
Wikipedia has me at 4'11".
Yeah.
Can we fix this?
And
I'm
everyone tried to help fix it.
I was like, of course we can get this fixed.
And you did.
We got it fixed. And then very quickly, people started to mess around with it.
They started to be really mean to me about it. So I could have even lied and said I was 5 feet, which most people would do, but I was honest and said 4'11" and a half.
Yeah.
And they put me at 4'8".
That is mean.
That is so mean.
Then you were 4'11", then you were 4'12" for
I think I was 4'12" at one
This
point.
is funny. But as of this exact second, you're 4'11" and a half.
Perfect. Let's keep it there, guys.
By the time this airs, everybody that first day when it comes out,
You know it's going to change.
what height do you definitely not want to be?
Don't put me below 4'11". You know?
Sorry, Kayla.
Put me over 4'11". It's fine.
You want to be 5'1"?
Make me 5'8".
Whoa.
You know?
That doesn't seem believable.
Camera angles, Chris.
At least you didn't have to do the split-legged thing when you were standing next to the superstars.
You know, sometimes they still made me.
No. For who?
Well, we do have, more vertically challenged. I think maybe your next show is one of them.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Or their previous show was one of them.
Chad Gable?
Not saying any names.
Oh, wow. So you'd even, I guess you're wearing heels. You'd even have to.
Even with Rey Mysterio, who everyone knows is short. I'm like, guys. But I still looked. And with some of the girls too, like Thea. I'm like, everyone knows that I'm taller than Thea. Which is a big fight we have online. We're like a half inch apart.
Did they ever say you know what, Kayla, it'd be really helpful if you just wore flats?
Yeah, but I was like, it doesn't work with the outfit.
It'd be really helpful if you just wore flip-flops.
Yeah, I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. So,
No.
I wouldn't do it.
So in heels, you're 5'3".
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we can go with 5'3".
5'4"?
Even 5'4".
5'8".
With my stripper heels.
Was that a callback to the movie?
It was. See
Wow,
that?
very nice.
Thank you.
Yeah. You also had some the fun moments, I think, were the most fun moments with Paul Heyman.
Yeah.
What are your most memorable moments from your time in WWE?
I mean, I think I just got to go back to the bump. Like, I just think that show, I think that show is the reason I stayed as long as I did. Because even prior to that, I remember before the bump, I was already thinking about moving on. And that was 3 years in.
And what was the reason at that point in time?
Kind of a similar thing. I felt like I was just kind of over being in a mic stand, and I just wanted to do more. And there just wasn't anything to do. Like, there was no, I mean, I was doing some sit down interviews that would air. I just wanted to do more. And like you said, like, we're trained broadcasters. I'm not someone who came in who never did broadcasting before and can do that role. I crave storytelling. And so I was in that mode of like, what's next? And then I got approached and I said, hey, we're doing this new morning show. It's a new concept. We want you to be the host of it. And I was like, all right, like, we're strapped in. And I think that show, even getting to do segments on the road where we went to Salem and I got to with Baron Corbin and Shotzi, and we got to do this whole Salem experience that aired in our Halloween episode. Or I flew to New York City to interview Cyndi Lauper, or I did went into Travis Barker's studio, and that kind of stuff just really fueled like my energy for my position. So once that kind of stopped, and it was my decision to step down from the bump as well.
Yeah.
But I think I just kind of lost that, excitement, for what I was doing. So, we all have to know when it's time to transition and to move on. And again, I'm very at peace and glad that I did it.
Would you want to do another morning show?
Absolutely. But I also would love to do a late night show.
Yeah. What's the best part about doing a morning show is hosting it. The worst part is waking up at 2:30 in the morning.
And that's what I thought. Like, get in like hair and makeup and stuff. No, that just sounds terrible. I'm gonna do a late night show.
Like what? Like a Jimmy Fallon type of thing?
I think like What Happens Live, Watch What Happens Live would be like a dream. And I even try to bring that concept to WWE.
Oh
I was like, let me just hang out with the superstars. I'm not gonna tell my idea.
Vince McMahon used to host a late night show way back in the day.
So I don't know. I think that would be a really fun thing to do, even on my own.
Well, we're living in a time now. I mean, this show is living, breathing proof of it. You can do your own thing now.
Exactly.
It doesn't need to exist on a network. It doesn't need to be associated with a website. You could go do your own thing.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's what McKenzie Mitchell's doing. Like,
yeah, she's killing it.
Killing it. Have you been on Threads yet?
I have not, but I have no reason to be. I don't have any threads.
I
did help her.
Threads?
She did. It was sweet. She did talk about it in an interview. I helped her come up with that name back when she was working with me on the bump, and she was talking about that idea for a long time. I thought it was a great idea. Just at the time, we don't have like a lot of resources to do shows. So the fact she's gone out on her own and done it, and it's like thriving, and it's not just thriving, it's very successful right now. It's pretty awesome.
It looks great too. Like, it's very well shot. It's incredibly edited. And it, again, going back to the storytelling, it tells a great story too.
Yeah, people want to hear. I actually try to do something like that with Michael Hayes, who's one of my favorite people I've ever worked with. We all know that he has some of the most outlandish outfits that you've ever seen in your life. And right before the pandemic, we all scheduled the bump crew to fly to Atlanta and to raid his closet and hear him tell stories about his outfits. And he was down, he was excited for it. And then COVID happened and we had to cancel. It was that next week that the world shut down. But I would still love to somehow like do that with him.
The amazing thing about that is it's not like he's on camera. Who's he dressing up for? Himself?
Himself. And he
lives the gimmick?
That's it. And it's funny to me. He goes, I'll even introduce you to my tailor. I'm like, what tailor? Like, you're not getting anything tailored. But no, he looks great. He's so, I love all of his little outfits.
I think you're onto something here. So is the idea to host, like you're doing auditions now, is the idea to host a show, or is it to create your own show, or maybe it's both?
I think both, but I want to have a lot of creative control over it. I think whatever I do next, I don't want to just be working for someone and being who I'm being, or what they're telling me to be. Like, I really just want to be Kayla. I feel like it's time to be Kayla Becker. And if that is attached to something else, great, but I just want to make sure it's what I want to do, whatever that may be. And I think it will be in the entertainment space for sure. I love Hollywood gossip, and I love like all the reality shows. I'm just very like in that stuff.
Yeah.
So I kind of think that's the world, and of course horror. So
There's a lot of opportunities here, right? There's a lot of red carpets.
Exactly.
There's movie premieres pretty much every week. You've got award season right around the corner.
Yep.
Could we see you on a red carpet? Hosting something?
I don't know. I mean, I go to a lot of red carpets just to walk them.
Yeah.
But, just to be seen.
Yeah.
No, we'll see. And I've thought about that as well. Yeah, we'll see.
I feel like there's a lot of opportunities here. So it's just a matter of time.
Yes.
And it's a matter of also letting the world know what Kayla Becker is all about.
And I think I'm just taking the time to figure that out for myself too. Like I think I like recognize that I have been go for so long, and it's hard for me to just sit. And I've only been gone for like a month, and I'm already like, okay, what's next? Like I need to like right now. And I'm like, no, like let's just be and enjoy this time to chill out and sleep and think and create. So that's what I'm doing right now. I've been working on producing a little bit, like had a pitch meeting to about a new show that I want to, maybe produce. So yeah, just trying to like, I call it my spaghetti against the wall phase.
I'm all about throwing spaghetti at the wall.
Yeah.
One of those pieces is eventually going to stick.
Exactly.
How'd you get the last name Braxton?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Is it a Tony Braxton
No, and that's what
reference?
people thought. And people thought I was related to them. But no, when I was getting hired, they're like, okay, we need a new last name for you. Can you help us choose one?
At least they let you keep Kayla.
I know. That would have been a harder thing to transition out of. But I was okay, I just want to keep my initials. I want to keep KB. So I gave them like a list of 10 B names. And they didn't choose any of them. They said, all right, you're Kayla Braxton. I'm like, what? Like, why did you even ask my opinion? But no, it's a good name. It's a strong name.
Yeah.
So I definitely don't hate it. But it's hard. Like even now I catch myself saying, I'm Kayla Braxton. Like, no, like Kayla Becker. It's so hard to like get back into it.
Well, for 8 years, you were Kayla Braxton.
Yeah.
And now you've got to figure out Kayla Becker now.
Yeah.
How did you get the social media stuff so quickly?
You mean it's moved
your
over?
names, yeah.
I had some help.
Okay. But like that's a big part of it,
Yeah,
right?
it took a while. It was hard to do that.
But
the Kayla Becker thing was funny. Like, okay, so I posted about this in social media. Did you see?
I don't know.
This was wild. So I was trying to get Kayla Becker on Instagram, just Kayla Becker. But
was it taken?
It was taken, but like, of course it would be. Instagram has been out for so many years, or a random fan has done it.
Sure.
So okay, I can be like the Kayla Becker TV, but I was sad about it.
Yeah.
So I reached out to my friend who was going to help me transition it over, and he sent me a screenshot of who had it. He goes, "This is the person who has your page," and I was like, "That's my page too." When Instagram first came out, like literally first came out, I created a page. Never thought about it again. Didn't know the login.
It was yours?
I've owned it since the beginning of time. So I was able to get them to just switch it out.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
like Kayla 15 years ago just knew that one day I was going to need my name again.
What are the odds?
I know. So yeah, it's crazy.
You know how many people have to be like, it's Chris Van
Yep.
Vliet, the Chris Van Vliet, Chris _
Yeah.
Van _ Vliet.
Kayla Becker, little
Wow.
fresh senior in high school, did it.
That is some real foresight.
I know.
That's amazing.
So yeah, so on Twitter, I'm the Kayla Becker. That's fine. I'm going to delete that app anyway.
Oh
It's the worst app out
Why
there.
is it so bad?
The people on there are just disgusting.
I don't understand.
I don't either.
I like how you hit back at some people on Twitter.
And now that I'm unemployed, or not, sorry, now that I'm not employed by a giant organization, clapbacks are coming back.
I mean, you had
I used to get in a lot of trouble for doing that.
Ooh,
Yeah.
really?
I mean, I'm representing the company. I can't be saying those, But now they're coming back.
But you were never rude about it.
I was funny, right?
You were funny, and you also put people in their place.
Yes.
Like, just because someone has a nameless, faceless little egg account doesn't mean that they can say whatever they want.
Exactly. So, and I have enough like positive fans who typically will take care of them for me. And it's so
Yes.
fun to see them like support me and respond for them. But every once in a while I get like a little itch to be funny and come back at them. So
How often would you write out a response and then be like,
I have so many drafts, Chris. Like the amount of drafts of that is insane. I should go back and read through them.
I'm sure that
That might be an episode on a podcast. Just read through all Kayla's drafts.
I just don't understand why someone who is so unhappy in their own life
I know.
feels the need to publicly try to bring someone else down.
It is mind-boggling. But I stopped trying to understand it. Like I had a lot of like dark days because you know, I know we're not supposed to care, or not supposed to read it, but these fans are so vile.
Yeah.
And when we're open about our lives, they'll leech onto those and then use that against you. And it's like, it's impossible, A, not to see it, because they love to tag you in it. And then it's a lot of times things that you already struggle with internally. And so when they're shedding like light or magnifying it, of course it's going to suck. But it is crazy to me that people, but I mean, that just means that they're that sad, you know?
Yeah. It says a lot more about who they are.
Exactly.
But it's just so.
It's weird.
It's dumb. I don't get it. And you could have 999 comments that are talking about how great your work is and how good you are at your job. And that one comment
can just really just like,
you're going to be like, wow.
I know.
Can I turn this person? Can I make them see the good in me?
I know.
And the answer is no, you can't.
Yeah.
They're just unhappy.
They're just unhappy.
But I always appreciated that.
Thank
Sometimes
you.
those would come across my timeline and I'd be like, hell yeah, Kayla.
Thank you. I'm glad that you appreciated it. Good.
I don't know. Should you bring him back? Isn't that just kind of feeding the trolls
Yeah,
then?
I'm not actually bringing them back. It would be nice though.
Yeah, just ignore the trolls, right?
I'm going to delete that app. I hate it so much. X. It's going to delete X. Does anyone ever actually call it that? Do you call it X?
No.
Okay.
Because then like Twitter tweet, right?
Yeah,
it makes sense.
I'm going to send an X. That sounds like you're going to send like a dirty photo.
Dijak told me the correct term is it's a zeet.
Oh, zeets. Of course Dijak knows that.
Yeah, right? He's like, yeah, they're called zeets. I'm like, I zeeted you? That sounds disgusting.
They call the app Z. Like, why X?
Yeah, right.
Idiots.
I do. I'm a big domain nerd.
Mm-hmm.
This is going off a complete tangent here. But I often search for like, oh, is this .com taken? And the answer is like 1000% always yes.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that Elon Musk got X.com however long ago and then bought it back, like that story is amazing. I'll never call it X.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that he owns one single letter .com, that's pretty incredible.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, let's switch gears to horror here. Give me your Mount Rushmore of horror films.
Oh, God. I think The Shining is always up there.
Yes.
I think the OG Scream.
Oh, my God.
I think like classic horror, right?
Whatever you want.
Let's see. I would say Freddy vs. Jason. Definitely loved. The original It.
That's it. That's 4.
Yeah, is that 4? Okay.
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 What's the movie you put on to scare the poop out of you?
I don't get scared.
At all?
Not really. I mean, I think gore. I will be sitting here like this, like with like gory stuff.
So like the Saw movies?
Yeah, but I think I like it. Like I'll get like jump scare. Like my boyfriend makes fun of me sometimes when we go to scary movies, and I'm like jumping the entire time. But that's just to make him feel like a man. I'm not actually scared at all.
So there's no movie scares you?
A long time ago, I'd say like Paranormal Activity. The paranormal stuff is what gets me. Like monsters and like slashers don't get, like I saw Talk to Me, A24 made that movie. One of the better horror films I've seen in a very long time.
Yeah.
And that kind of like, I like laid awake at night thinking about that. But I wasn't scared. I actually bought the embalmed hand and it sits on my shelf.
What?
So yeah.
I agree with you. There's something about the Paranormal Activity movies where it's like, this feels like it could actually happen.
Yeah, exactly. And
when you turn off all the lights in your room,
yeah.
what is going on here?
And I believe that my place is haunted. I think there's a ghost in there anyway.
Are you serious?
I mean, I think whoever it is pretty cool, but I'm convinced my place is haunted.
What happened?
Well, once I thought I'm pretty confident my keys were thrown because I put them in a very specific place and they were like over here. So like they couldn't have just fallen off and they were thrown.
So they went from like a counter to the floor? Or?
But like not in a place that just falls off. Like it was like a far place. And I heard it.
Like middle of the night?
Yeah.
Whoa.
And then you know that little app on TikTok, you know, it's like the AI and you put it up and maybe like a creepy person comes up. Okay.
Okay.
Well, one time I was doing that and like this girl kept popping up and then I was like, let me test this out. So I said, if you're in here, go into my bathroom, get into the shower and hold your hands up. And I went in there and did it and there was a girl holding her hands up like this. So I think we're haunted. See?
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you live in an older building?
No.
Oh, what?
But we're on this big plot, so I wonder if like, you know, maybe something before that was there.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Ooh.
I said they haven't bothered me yet.
I don't know.
Probably because they sense I'm like one of us, like one. You know?
That I don't know. That scares me.
Yeah.
That type of stuff.
So you don't like the. Are you a horror fan?
Yes, and also like it scares me.
Yeah.
Like I remember I was young when I Know What You Did Last Summer came out. I was like 13 or 14. We went to see it at the movie theater at the mall. It's like 10-minute walk from my house. The movie ended at whatever 10. I remember sprinting home because I was just so scared. I thought I was being followed, and not like there would be a man in like a rain slicker with a hook. But I just remember sprinting home from that. I remember seeing The Exorcist and like
that's one. That's that.
I couldn't watch 90% of that movie.
That's pretty
It was
scary.
re-released in theaters, however many, on whatever anniversary it was. And I was 16, 17, whatever it was. And I just looked at the floor for most of the movie.
Really?
And my friends are like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, it's too real. Like
Yeah.
that felt too,
I grew up like in a religious like family, so like
too.
that stuff like hits.
I saw, without going too deep into it, I saw some stuff that felt very Exorcist-ish when I was going to church growing up. So when I saw the movie a few years later, I
Hit
was
a
like,
little too close. Yeah.
ooh.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I love horror movies. In fact, I did the junket for the most recent Saw movie.
Oh yeah.
And like everybody sitting next to me is like, oh, ah. And I'm just sitting there like eating my popcorn, and they're like, what is wrong with you, dude? I don't know, it's kind of, I don't like the way they shot the scene. So I'm into that stuff. And I also remember seeing Saw for the first time.
Like the
And
very first one?
The very
Oof,
first. I
yes.
saw that in theaters. I didn't know much about the movie, but I just went
That
to
was
see it at
rough.
that time. And when that movie ended, I went, what? I'm not trying to give anything away if you haven't seen the movie, but that ending came out of nowhere.
And that's it. Those movies aren't scary because it's not going to happen to you if you're a good person. Because that's kind of the base of the entire thing.
Great point. Jigsaw's only out to like kind of help you right your wrongs.
Yeah.
Like he's trying to put you back on the path. If you're a bad person.
He's like a life coach.
That's one way. And actually, Jigsaw's never killed anybody.
Yeah, not like.
No,
Yeah.
Jigsaw always gives you a way out. That's the whole. And then when they went on later in the movies, they were realizing these traps weren't made by Jigsaw because they didn't give you a way out.
Yes.
Jigsaw always gave you a way out.
That's very true.
And then you end up getting killed or deciding to
Yeah.
get killed. But yeah, I like horror movies.
Good.
I appreciate how they're made.
Yes.
But great Mount Rushmore for you.
Thank you.
So Halloween must be your time of year then.
Oh yeah.
Are you already planning it out?
Yes. So I'm getting a custom costume made currently.
Oh, that's extravagant.
Yes. So I'm not going to tell you what it is or anybody what it is. But
Oh,
like
we'll
last
see.
year, I did like a big photo shoot. I was like a creepy clown girl, and I'm gonna do it again this year. But oh yeah, this is getting planned out.
Wait, if someone's not following you on Instagram,
You better follow me now.
at Kayla Becker.
Kayla Becker. That's right.
The account that you didn't even realize you'd have a need for. Amazing.
So I know. I love that.
Are you done with working in wrestling for now?
Yeah, I think so. People, that's one thing about our fans too. They think, oh, you leave WWE, you must be going to AEW or OnlyFans. Like it's like the only two like options that they think that you have. I'm like, actually, I'm doing neither. No, yeah, I think wrestling will always be like a love of mine and always be a family of mine. But I think I just really didn't want to pigeonhole myself as like a host and a broadcaster and just see what else I can do out there. I mean, there's always possibility that maybe I pop back in for like, a fun cameo or something down the road. But yeah, I think my time is done.
Well, you're going to do some signings and conventions. I think you have a signing coming up here pretty soon. You're going to be around those fans again. And they're going to be like, Kayla, we want you back. We need you back. That's going to be the true like challenge.
Yeah.
Of like, it's that option. I feel like it's always going to be right there.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people who have been in the position that you were in that are now doing all kinds of huge things outside of the world of wrestling.
No,
the precedent has been set.
Yes. And that's the thing. Wrestling is such a massive part of the entertainment industry. I mean, there's wrestling airing, I think, every single night of the week pretty much on television.
Yeah.
But also there's so much more outside of it too. And so I think that's what I'm going to, focus on for the time being.
Isn't it so interesting finding those closet wrestling fans? Like, especially with all the celebrities that would come backstage to WWE.
I know.
You'd be like, wait a second.
I know.
You like wrestling?
And that's pretty cool. And I think this new era with Triple H kind of, running ship is opening those doors more where they weren't before into Hollywood, and like hopefully going to mesh the two a lot more than before.
Who's the biggest celebrity you met because of WWE? Or the one that you went, oh my gosh, I can't believe.
Well, I got to do that interview, one-on-one interview. We weren't in person, but with Matthew McConaughey, and that I freaked out. Like, that was just crazy to me. Sometimes I watch it back, I'm like, he said my name. Well, he called me Miss Braxton. I got to ask him to do it again. Or maybe I'll dub it. I'll dub Braxton Becker. But that was really cool. And getting to fly to New York to interview Cyndi Lauper, like that was pretty massive for me, because my mom was such a fan. And so like realizing I get to go and, oh gosh, I'd have to think about that. So, and of course The Rock, but he's one of us. But getting this, say The Rock was my coworker was pretty wild.
Mr. The Rock.
Mr. The Rock, that's right. Mr. The Rock.
Did you have another meeting with him after that? Because when we talked last time, you had done that bit with him on or saw him at SmackDown. Mm-hmm. You were like, I called him Mr. The Rock.
Yeah.
Did you get to make good on that?
Well, I made sure I didn't say Mr. again, but I think I just said The Rock. Like, I don't know how to, address him. He was really nice to me.
Do most people call him DJ?
I don't know if the wrestlers do. Like maybe
Rock,
it's Rock. Rock. Just say Rock next time, Kayla. Not
Mr. Johnson.
Not Mr. But he was
Mr. Dwayne.
He was really nice. I was trying to set up an interview with him. And so he promised me that he would do an interview with me someday. So I hopefully, even though I'm not with WWE anymore, that, is still true.
I think he has a place out here, so.
Yeah, just stand outside of his door?
Yeah,
just wait?
if you can find it. I'm sure it's not far from here. Figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
But it's cool seeing how many people, like mainstream people, would be sitting ringside or would be backstage taking those photos. Yeah. Wrestling's in a totally different space now than it was 8 years ago.
Yeah.
What's the biggest thing for you as a broadcaster that you know now or you feel comfortable with now that you didn't have 8 years ago?
Just in broadcasting?
Sure, whatever.
I think I gained just a lot of confidence, like being on the fly. And even like when we have the celebrities backstage, like Kayla, we need to grab an interview of so-and-so, even if I don't know who they are, do a quick like wiki search, and I have like 5 minutes, and then I run in there and we just riff. And so I think that was a skill I didn't have before. And I think that just goes along with like confidence and your ability and your skill. And that's why I do think I am like not trying to like, put myself over, wrestling terminology.
Hey. But go ahead.
That's why I do think I am like a really good host. Like I think I could be put into any situation, given minimal information, and be able to help people open up. And I've even had, when I did like that long form sit down interview, maybe with Edge or with someone, maybe with Cena even, they commented on my ability, just like, oh, didn't even feel like an interview. And like, we just sat and just talked for an hour. And so that's just a really nice thing. And that, like, you're very good at that. I feel like you're just talking to your guests and you're not interviewing them.
Thank you.
And that's a skill.
It is. And I think that I heard this a long time ago. I think it was a Ryan Seacrest quote. If someone watching thinks that they can do your job because it looks so easy, then you're doing something right.
Yes. That's why I always talk about the ring announcers. I always put over the ring announcers because that's a job I dabbled in when I first got to WWE and did not like it because it was terrifying and it was hard. But look at Samantha, look at Alicia, look at Mike Rome. They do such a good job, make it look so easy, but that is not easy at all.
What didn't you like about it?
It's just nerve-wracking. Like, it's one thing to be in front of a camera and the red light comes on. Another thing to be in front of tens of thousands of people and having to demand the entire arena and not mess up the names, the weights, the monikers. Like, it was just a lot of information. Worried my voice would crack. I tell a story about I did a War Games match maybe, and in the beginning of what I had to say in the ring was, you the only way to win is to incapacitate your opponent, and I said decapitate. And it's live, and you can't change it. Technically, that is correct,
I mean, if you decapitated your opponent, you probably would win.
Exactly, but yeah, it was hard. But I'm glad I got that experience, being in front of a live audience like that. But
especially when it's like you need to memorize everything too.
We have when I first got to WWE, we were given charts with every wrestler's name, weight, where they're billed from, their moniker, and then you have to memorize that. And then beyond that, you have to go talk to the wrestlers and be like, okay, when do you want me to start your entrance, when or what is the cadence that you want. It's just so like AJ Styles is very specific. It was AJ Styles. You can't be like AJ Styles, you know? So like stuff like that.
Yeah. And then stuff changes.
On the fly, yes.
Like,
and when stuff, a lot of times someone talks in your ear, you can't hear, it's so loud. And then, I'm getting anxiety talking about this because I'm getting PTSD from when it happens. But yeah, they do a very good job.
Were the breaks, the commercial breaks there, like to the second they needed to be taken? Like, is that how they were done?
Like, yeah, pretty much.
Like, was it like, we need to go to break at 17:30?
No, it's pretty much, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so this block is 17 and a half minutes. We're going to break at 8:17:30. And then that break's going to be 2.5 minutes. We're back on the air at 8:20.
Yeah.
Would that be how it was?
Yeah.
Like, to the second?
It's pretty much like they're, yeah.
Whoa.
That's why they're so good. The fact they can time a show like that to where it goes off air exactly when it's supposed to be, right when that finish happens. And then it's, got the, yeah.
The amount of moving parts that go into that, with the referees saying like 5 minutes to go, 4 minutes to go, 3 minutes, like.
That's another hard job. They're responsible to like keep things, if the wrestler doesn't want to do what, wants to do what they want to do, it's still the referee's fault if things don't go the way they're supposed to go. Like that's another very unappreciated job because they're the ones.
Time.
Yeah.
And to get the show off on time. And then like if the match ends, but you've also have to have some stuff happening after the match, you got a lot of moving parts there.
And then it's crazy to me that these wrestlers go out there and do a 20-minute match with all of this stuff. Then they cut a promo. How do you remember it after that point? Like that's, yeah, we got some talented people.
Maybe it's time for you to start training to be a wrestler.
Yeah, I think not. Yeah, that's absolutely never going to happen.
I mean, never say
I'm
never.
telling you, never is never going to happen.
You have taken bumps before.
I took
you
a
talked
bump
about
before.
This last one.
I took a bump. Yes, it was very difficult, and I crawled away. I wore the Tough Enough hat or helmet, and I even did it in the soft,
like the crash mat.
The crash mat, but I didn't tuck my neck, and you have to tuck your neck when you take a bump, otherwise you're gonna get whiplash, and that whiplash is what I got. I was like, never again. Running the ropes, I think I did one little bounce. Like that hurts. Like running the ropes is very painful.
And I mean this with great respect. You can reach the top rope.
I mean, it doesn't matter,
Because for most people, the top rope's, right under their armpit here.
Well, yeah, when you see Zelina
You're
Vega or Liv Morgan
right?
do it, like if you watch where it hits, it is pretty funny because they're my size.
Yeah. So you're like reaching up for it.
Okay, I get it. No, we're not reaching up for it. Look at this guy.
4'11" and a half.
Jokes.
Come on.
Yeah.
A short joke. I said with great respect I trained for quite a while.
Yeah.
I had the welt across my back.
How long until you get used to that? Do you ever?
Ask someone who has much more experience than me. I trained for a few months. I don't know. It still like takes the wind out of you.
Yeah. Whew, that's crazy.
And I think I'm sure a lot of people would tell you if they've been out of it for a few months or they're coming back from an injury, first time you hit the ropes, first time you take a bump.
Yeah. Oof. More power to them.
Yeah. So you're probably safer with just a microphone
I think so.
in your hand.
I think that's the.
And you've got the world in front of you right now. And it seems like you're in a great place both personally and professionally as well.
Yeah, I feel really good, and I think the next few months, I think you're going to be seeing a lot of things rolling out that I am working on. So I'm really excited. I'm really thankful for the last 8 years. If it weren't for the last 8 years, I wouldn't be able to be doing what I'm moving into now. So many skills, so many people. So yeah, but I'm really excited for the future, and I hope people continue following along. And it may not be wrestling, but it's still going to be a fun phase.
There's a lot of people that would love to have the job that you had in WWE. Mm-hmm. What's the advice you have for an aspiring broadcaster that would want to be in that position?
I think learn the business as much as you can outside of the business. Definitely be very respectful because it's a culture. Like WWE is such a culture. Don't overstep. That's something I'll definitely say. Don't overstep. Don't keep harassing people in the office about wanting a job. But come to shows. Shake some hands. And I think if you're the right fit it'll be seen. There are very few spots for what
Very
we do.
few.
And they definitely spend time deciding who's going to fill those spots. So if you're meant to be in that spot, you will be. But otherwise, just keep at it. Do interviews on your own. Like do something that Chris is doing. Like really hone in those skills, because we've seen many times we hire someone, get in that spot, and they don't last a month or two because they don't have the interview chops. So I'd say, Jeff, just work on it.
I think that's all great advice. We're excited to see what's next for you.
Thank you.
And it sounds like you've got some irons in the fire. So.
Yeah, like I'm not letting on to stuff, but because I can't. But just keep an eye out for the next few months.
Okay.
We've got some cool stuff.
Okay. We did this at the end of our last interview. Maybe your answers have changed. I don't know. But first of all, thank you for coming in here.
Thanks for having me.
So good to see
you. Are you
you.
going to move studios again the next time?
I don't think so. I think we are at West Coast Creative Studio for a while
All right,
now.
good.
I mean, look how beautiful this
And
looks.
I said I can walk here.
Ish. I mean, are you technically in a different city?
Yeah, but I can still walk here. I have two legs.
I guess technically I could have walked here. I would have had to start yesterday, but I could have walked here. Gratitude, such a big part of my life. So what are three things, Kayla, that you're grateful for as we sit here in this moment right now?
I think first and foremost, just having the ability to have this time right now to transition. A lot of times people can't do that. You move from one job, you have to immediately jump into the next to survive. And I feel like I'm in a good spot where I can take time and just really make sure that the next step is something I really want to take. I have friends and family around me who have been super supportive, which I'm very thankful for, because when you tell your family you're going to a business like this, initially sometimes they can be very skeptical because it's so wishy-washy, but always just being like, you know what, you're going to be fine. You've always been fine. So very thankful for that. And very thankful that Halloween Horror Nights starts next month.
Are you going to be there on opening night?
I might. We'll see.
That place freaks me out.
Halloween Horror Nights? Oh. Really? That's the least scary thing.
I went on opening night, so it wasn't that, or I went on media night. It's like, it wasn't that busy. And all I was trying to do was get from the entrance to some ride. And they're coming up to you and breathing in your face, like scaring you.
Go to the Orlando one. That one is 10 times as scary.
Scarier than this one?
Scarier.
The one in Universal?
Yeah, it's scarier.
Universal City? Oh. That I just don't like people being up in my space.
I get it.
Have you been to Screamers in Niagara Falls?
No.
So it's one of the scariest haunted houses in the world. And they have a sign outside of it of like the amount of people. It's a ticker of how many people have chickened out. And it's like, I don't know what the actual number is, but like 270,000 people. If you get in there and it's too scary, you say the word Screamers and they like rush in and they get you out of there. And like apparently like hundreds of thousands of people have not made it to the end. So
I would never do that.
If you're around Niagara Falls, Ontario.
No, I'm not doing that. That's
too scary?
That might be too scary. I don't want anyone touching me.
I don't think they touch you.
Oh no?
No.
Then maybe.
I think it's like Halloween Horror Nights, like where they're right in your face like this.
I'll have to look into that.
Look it up. We'll look it up right
Maybe
when
our
we're
next
done
time
here.
we talk, we can do it there.
I'll meet you in Canada, my home and native land. Well, Kayla, cheers.
Cheers.
Great to see you.
You too. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming in and congrats on everything.
Thank you. Next time I'll have a little more update for you.
Love it.